Hello everybody, today I just wanted to share with you two things that I would do different and that I'm going to be doing different going into Season 2 whenever that comes out, when it comes to how I went about my leveling and stuff like that. So the first thing is I would be more focused on doing dungeons while I was leveling up. So I didn't know this, but they removed the level requirement, right? Well, I didn't know it, but obviously beforehand, but I realized it at the beginning of the season. But they removed the level requirement for all the areas. The only thing that had level requirements were the strongholds. This means you can go and do whatever dungeon you want right at level 1. So what I would do is go and make sure I'm playing with at least 1 or 2 friends, and then I would split do dungeons just right off the bat, right at level 1 in World Tier 1. Just get all of the Renown knocked out, because all you have to do is do every single dungeon and then do like 2 or 3 side quests, do the strongholds, and then grab the waypoints. That's what you have to do to knock out the Renown. So if you just go and split do dungeons, you'll level up, you'll do 2 things at once. You'll level up and you'll knock the Renown out, and then after you get all the Renown done, then go and do the Temple of Rot runs. Because I don't really see why it would be any different you doing it now versus doing it at level 80. I actually think it's probably the worst to do at like around level 50 to 55, because you're in this awkward spot where the game has gotten more difficult, but at the same time you don't have necessarily your full build put together, so you end up being a little bit slower, I feel like, in that time period. But then once you get to around like level 70, you probably have a build put together, you're probably speedy again, so you can go do it fast. But like when you're on World Tier 1, I mean, everything's just so easy, you can just kind of blast through them. Now, if you're just doing a race to 100 to see who can hit 100 the fastest, like, yeah, sure. But if we're looking at this from a, like, how much time am I going to spend versus that person that did Temple of Rot runs, realistically, we're probably going to spend the exact same amount of time to get to level 100 and to get the Renown done. The only difference is I'm just going to have the Renown done first, and he's going to be level 100 first. So, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of just kind of blasting for experience, but then again, keep in mind, I'm not just trying to rush to 100 like a lot of people were. So if that's your goal, I mean, obviously doing Temple of Rot runs and stuff like that is going to be better. But like if you're like me and you're just more casual about it and you just want to get the Renown knocked out and then level up, I mean, you could have all the Renown done just so fast if you just have one other friend. Because if you didn't know, as long as you're in the game, hello everybody, today I just wanted to share with you the fastest way to get your Renown done. For those of you that might still be working on it, because I noticed I've seen quite a few comments on videos saying that, oh, I'm only level 60, I'm only level 55, so that means you probably haven't done the Renown yet, unless you were smart and did it right at the beginning at level 1, which is what I wish I did when I went going back. But pretty much, if you did not know, if you're in the same game as somebody else and they complete a dungeon, you will also get the dungeon completion. So what I would recommend strongly when it comes to Renown is to find one other person to play with, right? Whether it be a friend, a clan member, just go join a clan, literally just find somebody, right? Because it's going to make this so much faster if you do, right? And you only need really one other person. Obviously 4 is going to be better and the fastest, but not everybody has access to 4 players. So like but most people, I feel like, know at least one other person that would do this with them, right? So what you do is you send one person into like Skosglen, and then let's say you do Fractured Peaks, and his dungeon completions are going to count for you, and your dungeon completions are going to count for him. So you guys are going to knock out, and you're also going to unlock the aspects too, even if you're not in the dungeon. So you're going to knock out 2 areas in the time that it would have taken one of you to do one, right? Because if you don't know what it takes to get to the Renown, you have to do all the dungeons. Well, sorry, unless you're in Skosglen, because Skosglen has like just an absurd amount of dungeons. So you have to do all of the dungeons, and then you have to do the strongholds, the waypoints, and then like 2 or 3 side quests, and that'll get you to level 5, right? And you do need to make sure you have like your full map discovered and stuff like that, and the Altars of Lilith already done, which you should have done in the preseason if you were doing your due diligence. But yeah, so that's really all you have to do to hit Renown 5. Is just do all the dungeons, do the strongholds, do the waypoint, right? Do the side quest, and then wham bam, you'll have this thing knocked out. And God, I think me and my friends, so I did it like level 55. I want to say it took with 3 people, right? And they had suboptimal builds at the time. So they were going through their dungeons a little bit slow because we did it at like 50, 55, which was, or no, sorry, we did it like 60, which I don't think is a good time to do it, because I think if you don't have your full build put together, I think it's going to make you be slower in the long run, unless you like drop it down to world tier 1, but then you're not getting any benefit from like gear drops and stuff like that. So I think it's better to do it early on, or to do it later on at like 70, 80, or whenever you actually have a build put together, just so you can do it faster. But yeah, we ended up clearing all of this out with 3 people, and I want to say it took us like maybe 2 or 3 hours, something like that, which wasn't too bad. And they had, you know, and I personally, I think it could be done even faster if we had a 4th person and everybody actually had their builds put together, because I was playing with a couple of people that didn't have their builds fully up and running, so they were doing like, I think like maybe 1 dungeon in the time that I was doing like 2 or 3. I was lapping people on that trample slide build. My gosh. But yeah. Anyways, but yeah, so that's really what I would do to get the Renown done. It's going to be the fastest way to do it, hands down. I don't think, I'm trying to think if there'd be any other faster way to do it. The one thing I will say is, to get the strongholds, you do have to be with, I do believe you have to be with them for the strongholds, but that's not that big of a deal. You guys can just do all the dungeons, and then you guys can go do like a stronghold run or whatever. So, but anyways, yeah, so that's my tips on you know, how to get the Renown done the fastest, and the way that I did it, and the way that I'll be doing it in all seasons going forward. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.